That sounds good. Well, good evening and welcome. And before we get started, I want to let everyone know that we will be recording tonight's program. My name is Beth Mitchell, and it is my pleasure to serve along with my friend, Bob Budoff, as co-chair of the Jcrc of Greater Washington's Northern Virginia Commission. The Jcrc serves as the public affairs and community relations arm of the organized Jewish community. Around the region, we represent more than 100 organizations and synagogues as we advocate for the needs, priorities, and values of the Jewish community, which includes advocating for the well-being of everyone in the greater Washington area. Each year, our advocacy work includes convening our community for education and discussion. Last year, we shifted our legislative breakfast to this online format. We look forward to meeting again in person, but in the meantime, we are pleased to be able to bring our grassroots community and our state and local representatives and officials together virtually to share our priorities in preparation for the General Assembly's regular session. I want to thank you all for joining us and specifically note the couple dozen elected officials and agency leaders who are with us. Joining us tonight is Speaker of the House of Delegates, Eileen Filler-Corn, State Senators Adam Ebbin, George Barker, Jennifer Boysko, and Barbara Favola. House Majority Leader Charniele Harrigan. Charniele Herring. It's already a late day. Delegates Kay Corey, Patrick Hope, Marcus Simon, David Reed, Mark Kem, Alfonzo Lopez, Dan Helmer, Kathleen Murphy, Kathy Tran, and Delegate-elect Irene Shen, as well as Bridget Godfrey from Delegate Elizabeth Bennett Parker's office. We also welcome the chair of the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors, Jeff McKay, members of the Fairfax County School Board, Laura Jane Cohen, Carl Frisch, and Karen Keys Gamara, as well as the leadership of several community agencies. Dove Hawk from the Virginia Israel Advisory Board, Amanda Katz from JCADA, Ariel Schwartz from APAC, Stephen Klein from Jewish Federations of North America, and of course, representatives from our synagogues, the Jewish community, and Gesher Day School. Thank you all for being here. Your voice is a crucial part of our public and policy dialogue. Today's polarized rhetoric can be frustrating and cause us to lose track of the tremendous privilege and responsibility we have to engage in our democracy and the democratic process, not only by voting, but also by listening and speaking up on the issues that matter to us. At the Jcrc, we strive to move beyond the rhetoric and to focus on the important, practical, and nuanced aspects of public policy. We thank you for joining us in keeping our civic discourse civil, even perhaps especially with those whom we disagree. In addition to participating today, I encourage you to make your voices heard by joining us for our virtual advocacy day on February 2nd, when we will speak with our representatives about specific legislation they are considering. Keep your eyes open for more information about that event in the weeks to come. You will find a link to our legislative priorities for the 2022 General Session of the General Assembly in the chat box on your screen. In recent years, we have successfully lobbied for 3 budget priorities: funding for a Jewish social service agency program that provides care for impoverished, aging Holocaust survivors, funding to expand the Jewish Foundation for Group Homes Loudoun County programming for young adults aging out of the public school system, and a new hate crime security grant program through which 5 Jewish agencies in Northern Virginia, as well as FCPS, which I think is Fairfax County Public Schools, the Adams Center Mosque in Loudoun County, and Holy and Whole Ministries have received $400,000 in funding to strengthen their security infrastructure and programming aimed at combating hate crimes. Working to continue funding these community projects is a priority for us. This year, we also successfully lobbied for a number of other initiatives, including legislation that empowered voters, provided equal protection for people with disabilities, created programs for providing food to those in need while compensating farmers for their contributions, opportunities for former felons for rehabilitation, and after many years of work, abolition of the death penalty. We look forward to continuing our work with all of you. I now turn the program over to my colleague, Bob.
Thank you, Beth. I'm Bob Budoff. Good evening and thanks for everyone for attending. It's my privilege and my honor to introduce Speaker of the Virginia House of Delegates, Eileen, who will get us started with some opening remarks. After she has spoken, we'll be breaking up into separate breakout rooms for discussions on several of our legislative priorities. Senator Boysko and Delegate Lopez will speak about environmental issues. Senator Ebbin and Delegate Simon will speak about voting rights. Lita Herring and Delegate Hope will speak about criminal justice reform. Senator Barker and Delegate Tran will speak about health care. And Senator Favola and Delegate Helmer will speak about gun safety. Jcrc's Northern Virginia Director of Government and Community Relations, Vicki Fishman, will provide instructions for joining those rooms. We will have time for questions and answers. Speaker Eileen is the first woman and the first member of the Jewish community in the 400-year history of the Virginia State Legislature to become Speaker of the House. She has served in the Virginia House of Delegates since 2010, representing the 41st District, which is located in Fairfax County, including Burke and parts of Fairfax, Fairfax Station, and West Springfield. As Speaker, she has led us through the pandemic, 2 very difficult years, ensuring essential access to health care for all Virginians, led the fight to pass the Equal Rights Amendment, strengthened the economic development of the county and the state, reduce gun violence, ensure voter access, preserve reproductive freedom, and championed equality for all members of our society. Throughout her service in the Virginia House of Delegates, Speaker Philip has fought for access to healthcare services, been a strong supporter for protecting our schools and children's educational resources, and improving traffic while maintaining our roads. As she moves into a new role this coming session as Minority Leader, we know that she will continue to work on all of these important issues. Many of us who are here today have known and worked with Eileen for many years through her service on the boards of many of our Jewish community institutions, including our Jcrc board, where she served many years ago, the Jewish Foundation for Group Homes, and the American Jewish Committee. We are honored to count Speaker Philip as a member of our community, and we are very pleased to have her with us tonight. Welcome, Eileen, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Bob, for that really amazing introduction. I am so thrilled to be with all of you today and appreciate the opportunity that you provide by allowing us all to do this virtually as well, although we do hope we can be in person soon. And it's just great to see so many friends. I want to shout out to Vicki and Missy and Amy and Ron and Gila and Beth and of course you, Bob. And thank you on behalf of all of us in our caucus. Thank you for what you all do every single day. When I think about how you all have been involved, obviously out in the community, but really started way back when, just really working with us as we continue to build our numbers and grow in support of the issues that are so important to you. We've got a lot of common values, and your support on all of these issues have helped us every step of the way when we were back in the minority and certainly when we were in the majority. So all of our successes, the fact that we were able to move forward on so many important issues, we did so with your support, and your advocacy is so key. And I remember so many of us have had the opportunity to participate in the Date with the State back when that was in person. And, to see all of you come out in support of these issues and really get to know us and develop relationships with us, letting us know why you support these issues and what issues are important to you is just invaluable. And now providing us the opportunity to do so virtually is tremendous. You mentioned, public policy, and the reason that you all are actually involved in this is really to make a difference and to improve the lives of Virginians on the issues that are important to you all. And I can, say on behalf of all of us here in our caucus, we're here for the same reasons. We want to impact Virginians' lives positively. And as I look at your list, the Jcrc 2022 legislative priorities, we continue to be like-minded on all of these issues. And, again, you mentioned we've made a lot of progress in the last 22 months. And, certainly in the majority, we were able to do that. So whether we're talking about gun violence prevention, we're talking about healthcare, we're talking about voting rights, environmental justice, criminal justice reform, so many critical issues, we made a lot of progress. And we're proud of what we were able to do. And as you mentioned too, Bob, we did all this through multiple crises. Obviously uncharted territory as we found ourselves dealing with this health crisis, the pandemic, criminal justice crisis, economic crisis, and so much else. And yet we were really able to, along with your support and others, focus on the issues that were important, that were going to have impact on Virginians' lives. So we focused a lot on, existing, structures and institutions. We passed an agenda really supporting Virginians who were struggling as a result of this pandemic. So we wanted to stay true to who we were. And as we supported the issues that were important to us, that we had campaigned on and said we were going to focus on, but we found ourselves in this new world, and we really had to focus on helping those most vulnerable, which I know is a tenet of everything that you all do and stand for. So whether we're talking about paid sick leave for our healthcare workers, whether we're focused on putting $36 million into job retraining for Governor Northam's G3 program and providing tuition-free college education, whether we're talking about all the crucial investments that we made to ensure that we could get the vaccine as quickly as possible to everybody. And now when you look at where we are, Virginia ranks among the top 10 states in the nation in terms of vaccine distribution. So much to be proud of. I know, looking at this list here, that you all have always supported us on our anti-discrimination legislation. And you all know we don't have enough time to go over all that we passed there. When we think of what we were able to do for the working Virginians, we're always talking about how proud we are of being the best state in the country for business. Well, you know what? Under our leadership, we were able to move forward and make progress for workers. And so that's, another one of our achievements that we're so proud of. Think about, and I know you'll hear more about this in the small group sessions that you have later, but gun violence prevention. And you all know that many of us have personal stories. That's a top priority for us. And as a society, I know you agree when we say that we have no greater responsibility than to ensure that our citizens, Virginians, and our children are safe. So looking back at all that we were able to do, that's something that's important to us. Voting rights. I know Leader Herring will be discussing that later, I believe, in her group, or that might have been criminal justice reform. But again, when you think about where we were in just less than 2 years, from 49th in the country for accessibility to the ballot, jumping up to number 12. And I just also wanted to add, Virginia this year is on firm footing because of what we have done, how we have governed. And when you look at all the investments we've made as well, it's nothing shy of remarkable. We've got a budget surplus now at $2.6 billion. And it's just, incredible as a result of how we were able to navigate these crises while governing fiscally responsibly as well. So I just want you to know that we're aware of the fact that we're in a different position. And as you mentioned, many of us will have different titles. But you know what? We are going to hold the other side accountable. So we are just so proud of what we have accomplished, the progress that we have made, the lives that we have impacted. And I'm just here to say that we are going to stand firm in our belief that your list of agendas, your legislative priorities are ours as well. And we will make sure that all the stride that we have made is not rolled back. So we also mentioned reproductive rights. We're not going to let anybody attack our reproductive rights. When we think about what we've accomplished in criminal justice reform as well, we are going to keep Virginia open and welcoming. And I know that's a top priority for you all. And we'll make sure also as we start to come out from the pandemic, that this continues to be, that we take this seriously, that we focus on the health of Virginians, and that we make sure that we're protecting Virginians' families moving forward from the spread of COVID-19. That has been and will remain a priority for all of us. So again, I thank you for your partnership. Thank you for all your advocacy on all the issues that are important to us. And as you see, you will see in these small group sessions that these have been top priorities for us. We are proud of the accomplishments that we made. And we are going to make sure that we are standing firm and make sure that none of this is rolled back. So I thank you all for your partnership. Thank you for having us all on today. And, appreciate your continued advocacy. So I think at this point, I'm supposed to pass a proverbial mic to Vicki Fishman, somebody I have known for a long time, and many of you have as well, just a pillar of the Jewish community in Washington and Northern Virginia as well. And thank you very much. And Vicki, it's passing on to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Secretary. It's our privilege to have you here with us today as one of our steadfast representatives from Northern Virginia. For those of you who I don't know yet, I'm Vicki Fishman, Jcrc's Northern Virginia Director of Government and Community Relations. Before we break out into smaller discussions, I'm going to take a minute to review our legislative priorities for the coming session. You can find a link to the full list in the chat. At some point, I accidentally put in the Zoom link, but I believe Sarah Winkleman just posted for all of you to see the list of priorities. As mentioned earlier, we will continue to advocate this year for security of institutions at risk of hate crimes and for funding of the social services provided by our Jewish agencies to the community at large. We also will be looking for support bipartisan efforts to strengthen efforts to keep guns out of the wrong hands and to provide protection against gun violence. Reproductive health is on our agenda as we work to ensure that Virginians have access to comprehensive health care and do not face discrimination or government overreach into their relationships with their healthcare providers. We will continue to support legislative efforts to fight poverty by helping the most vulnerable in our community acquire the tools to success, including access to affordable housing, hunger relief, and quality education. Criminal justice reform, protecting the environment, and supporting generous, non-discriminatory policies towards immigrants and immigration all remain on our priority list this year. We additionally seek legislative initiatives that would ensure individuals with disabilities have the resources that they need to live with dignity and fully participate in society. We support the constitutional right to individual religious expression and will use our advocacy to make clear our opposition to efforts to legislate coercive religious practice into Virginia government institutions. Finally, we will continue to support the Virginia Israel Advisory Board in its mission to facilitate economic development opportunities between the Commonwealth of Virginia and the State of Israel. In a moment, you will have a chance to join a further discussion of one of these topics. But first, I want to thank you for joining us and invite you to continue engaging with us in our advocacy work. Please join us on February 2nd for a virtual advocacy day, when we will join Jewish communities from all around the Commonwealth and apply these priorities to specific legislation. Please stay tuned for emails with additional information about that day and how to register. Now, we will go deeper into several of these topics in breakout room discussions. When you see a pop-up window on your Zoom screen, you will choose a breakout room. Once you click on the room you're interested in joining, you'll be taken there by the Zoom system. If at any point you want to return to the main room, you should have the option to leave the breakout room at the bottom right corner of your screen. In each room, you will be joined by two of our guest elected officials who will each share a bit about their work on the topic before opening up the discussion to your questions. Please remember to put your questions in the chat box, and the moderator of your room will use them to lead the discussion. Your breakout room options are: Room 1 is a discussion with Senator Jennifer Boysko and Delegate Alfonzo Lopez on environmental issues. You will be joined there by Bob Budoff. Room 2 is a discussion with Senator Adam Ebbin and Delegate Marcus Simon about voting rights. You will be joined by one of our Richmond lobbyists, Missy Wesolowski. Room 3 is a discussion of gun violence protections with Senator Barbara Favola and Delegate Dan Helmer. Beth Mitchell will be leading the conversation in room 3. I will be joining those of you who choose room 4 for a discussion with Leader Charniele Herring and Delegate Patrick Hope about criminal justice reform. And finally, room 5 will be a discussion of healthcare issues with Senator George Barker and Delegate Kathy Tran. That conversation will be led by Amy Perron-Siebert, our other Richmond lobbyist. Thank you again for joining us tonight. I invite you now to choose your next conversation.
So I should open the rooms?
Yes, please.
Government to develop fiscally responsible.
Hello, is this Breakout Room 1?
Yes.
Okay, I see a lot of you haven't joined the room. Does anybody need help figuring out which one to join?
Yes. How
You
do we
should be
do
able
it?
to press. There should be a pop-up on your screen that lists 5 different rooms with VA Legislative. Do you see that? And then
Yes.
join the one that you're interested in
I
talking
don't
about.
have it. I don't.
I don't have it either,
I have the pop-up, but I keep clicking and nothing happens.
and I don't have a
Okay,
pop-up.
so you know what? I'm gonna go through you guys one by one and put you in the room. Okay, so Vivian, are you able to join a room?
I would love to join a room. My preference would be the last